All right, everybody. Welcome, Clint here. I think I recognize so many names on here. I think everybody is kind of familiar with who I am, the content, the webinars that we're going to be going over, or the webinar content itself. So I'll skip a lot of the formalities and let's just get right into the content. With that said, I do want to draw your attention just to a few logistical items. As always, you're going to get the recording, you're going to get the slides. I'm going to give you a really cool resource at the end of this, so you're going to get that as well. But also the feedback form. I plan on doing a lot more webinars. I've been doing a lot over the past month or so. I plan to do a lot more. Then us, here at ISM, we do a lot of webinars. So in the feedback form, I just ask, what's your challenge right now? What do you want to see more from us moving forward? What do you want to see more from me? I've been talking about lead magnets and email marketing, and I would just love to get a sense of what you guys are thinking right now, where you're at with your marketing, what would be most helpful for you. So once you close out today's webinar, it's going to pop up with the feedback form. If you can just let me know what you guys want to see here moving forward, I would really appreciate it. I would love it. It would be really helpful. All right. Let's get to it. So today, email marketing. I've had a lot of webinars, not a lot, 2 or 3 over the past couple months on email marketing. It's a really hot topic for me. I'm really trying to, if you've been on the previous webinar, especially about email marketing, I'm really trying to, communicate how valuable email can be to your marketing. I feel like in today's day and age, forgive the phrase, but it seems like email marketing has kind of become the redheaded stepchild of the marketing world, especially with so many other sexier platforms out there, the Facebooks, us, even bots now, the website bots, the Facebook Messenger. These are some of the hot new things that are here and coming. Plus, you have all the tried and true stuff, right? Stuff that your school has likely been doing for years that you really relied on for your marketing, from direct mail, billboards, lawn signs, all that stuff. So, where does email marketing fit? And I think we all do email to some sort of degree. Maybe just email out your newsletter, but really what I want to certainly hammer home is that email is probably the most effective communication channel that you have. I know that there's concerns out there with how much email people get and our attention spans, and is email spam? And the long and short of it is, the answer is no. Email is still extremely effective. It is our #1 communication channel here at ISM. It is the #1 communication channel for all the clients that I help with their marketing, and it's the #1 communication channel for a lot of different reasons, and we're going to get into those today. One of the key things to kind of keep in the back of your mind as well is that when done right, email marketing is going to, I think the stat is, and I've used this in previous webinars, is that you can increase the amount of leads that you have to inquiries by about 50% while reducing your advertising costs by 33%. The reason that you can get more results with less marketing spend is because, frankly, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money to send an email. Yes, you need some software to do it. Yes, you need some time, but really, you don't need, you're not spending money on advertisements or things like that. But how we want to use email and how to do it right is that we can actually build relationships with our parents. You can use email to build relationships when done right. So that's what we're going to jump into today. So right now, you're likely in one or two of these scenarios. One is, very likely, you have an existing database of prospective parents currently. You have parents in a list that got there somehow. Maybe they've come to an open house already. Maybe they've inquired and asked for more information. Maybe you were at an event, one of those community events, and somebody came by a tent or a table that you have and gave you their name and email. You got their name somehow and they're on your list and they're kind of just sitting there. Or, as many of you on here have been a part of my previous webinars, you learned about this idea of a lead magnet, where a lead magnet is a valuable resource that we give to parents in exchange for their contact information. So we are deliberately and actively looking to capture their contact information. And that's how we're getting parents into our database. So you're in either one of those camps or both of them, and hopefully both of them at this point. Is there anybody on here? Type in a 2 if you don't know what a lead magnet is. By a quick scan even of all the people that are on here, I feel like everybody might know, but if there's anybody that doesn't, okay, I see no 2s at the moment, so that's a good thing. So everybody's pretty familiar with what a lead magnet is. So right now, you have a database, or you're actively going to be looking to build that database of parents. The question is, what now? What do we do with those parents and that list? How do you get them to take the next step in that parent journey, that visual that we have? How do we get them to take the next step? I was just on a call this morning, it's funny, with the school, and they booked some time with me, and I said, yeah, let's jump on a call, answer your questions. And their question was, which feeds into exactly what I'm saying here, is, they're thinking about getting the lead magnet set up. They don't have it yet, but they said, look, we have a database of parents already. They've inquired, they've asked for more information, yet we can't get them to get on a phone call. We can't get them to come to an open house. They certainly haven't enrolled or filled out an application. What can we do with them? And it's a great question. And even if you don't have a lead magnet set up right now, you're all likely facing that scenario where your existing email database is a gold mine of prospective parents that could enroll their kids at your school. It is truly a gold mine. It's a matter of how to harvest that gold mine. How do you tap into it to get them to take that next step and ultimately enroll? It's really easy to go out and put together a really big marketing campaign, get some billboards up there, and try to get some new people in. And that's, of course, going to generate some sort of results. And then when that's done, you'd start the whole process over again. And again, what I'll keep repeating is that your email database is truly a gold mine of leads. You might be sitting on 500, 1,000, 2,000 email contacts right now of prospective parents that at some point or another you got their information. You need to tap into that. And your goal moving forward with your marketing should be to actively build that database. Your goal is your goal is to get applications and get increase your enrolled families, but to do that, you need to be thinking, how do I grow my database? So why do we want to grow our database? Well, we want to grow our database because the first point there is you get to own your own traffic. So there's a lot of ways to get website traffic. There's a lot of ways to get leads. There's no shortage of companies out there that are willing to take your money in exchange for running Facebook ads for you, doing the billboards, doing the radio, doing the direct mail, all those things. But when you can own your traffic, your marketing can be much more consistent, predictable, and cost effective. So we're also going to talk today about when and when not to use email automation. I love automation. There's a time and place for it. So today we're going to talk about when to use it, when it stops, and how you need to do more manual email marketing. We're going to get into some of the core content here, the 4 golden rules of email marketing. So we'll get to that here in a bit. How often do you need to email your parents for maximum effectiveness? So what is maximum effectiveness? Quite frankly, just getting them to take an action, whatever that action might be. How do we get them to open in your emails and engage with your emails and do what you're asking them to do? How often do you need to actually email them? So there are some rules of thumb to do that. We're going to talk about that. Really cool at the end of this, I'm going to give you my ultimate email marketing hack. It's something that I've been using for years. It's a really effective way to help you plan and create new content. And I'll also show you some of our own survey data. So at ISM here, you guys know, hopefully you know, we have a whole survey department. Schools get surveys from us to survey their parents. One of the questions that we ask is what led to or what helped you in choosing a school for your child? What were you looking for? And I'll show you some of those results and how you can use that in your email marketing. So at the end of this, I'm going to give you this this hack that I use. It is a resource. It is a big document. Again, if you can't stay to the end, you're going to get it in your resources, but or in the email that I send out with those resources. But I think you're going to find it's going to be really helpful. So I put this together for you, and I hope you like it. So right now, traffic, website traffic. There's traffic you own. There's traffic you don't own. So as I alluded to already, your email database is traffic that you own. It is truly an asset. It's something that you can tap into at any point in time. You can send an email. Imagine being able to have a database of 1,000 prospective parents that have not been to an open house yet, being able to send them a series of a couple emails, and you fill your open house just from doing emails. Not even having, I'm sure you're still going to do some of the other stuff, and I'm not going to discourage you from doing, lawn signs and direct mail and things like that. Those are all supplemental. But being able to have a database of parents that you can communicate with and get them to take an action is the most powerful asset that you can have in your marketing. So that's traffic you own, and that's why we have the lead magnet in place. Why we want to send all your traffic to your lead magnet so that you can continue to actively build that database every single year. Social media, you'll see there is in both sections. It is italicized because social media is kind of something that you own and kind of not. Yes, you might have, let's say, a Facebook page, and you have fans on your Facebook page, and you can communicate directly to them. But when it comes to social media, sometimes you don't know what content is going to be shared. You don't know when people are going to see the post. You don't even know if they're going to see it. As we all likely know, Facebook has their algorithm, and if you don't pay to play, boost your post, your fans won't see it, your parents won't see it. So you kind of own the audience there, but it's not really predictable about when they're going to see or click or like or share. So there's some unpredictability there. And while I do plan on having sessions moving forward about organic traffic, Google search traffic, getting referrals, how to actively engage parents to get referrals. Referrals are great, don't get me wrong. Word of mouth is fantastic, but it's unpredictable. You don't know when your next referral is going to come in. You don't know when somebody is going to search for something on Google and find your website and click around on your website. So it's not that it's bad, it's just that you don't own that traffic. But that's why I've had the webinars leading up to this about having a lead magnet, so that you can take all of that traffic that you don't own and take ownership of it. Encourage parents to give you their contact information and get into your email database. Okay, so that is the whole point of, yes, the lead magnet we are creating to provide value, to differentiate ourselves from our competitors, to another way to communicate our mission, but it's also a way from a marketing perspective to build a database of traffic that you own. All right, so there's a very strategic element to it. So you may have seen this on a previous webinar that I had on email marketing a couple months ago, but I do want to reiterate the fact that if you're sitting there and you are cautious or worried, or you get a little bit squeamish when you think of email marketing, and you think, you know what, there's a better way. Social media is a better way. I'm hearing a lot of marketing gurus out there talk about, Facebook Messenger and website bots and Instagram and YouTube and all those things are great. And they have grown in importance, but do not believe them that email marketing is dead. It is alive and well. So we're going to talk today about how to do it right, because if you do it wrong, email is not very effective. Email can be pretty off-putting to some, especially if you're not sending things that people want to receive. So we're going to talk about the methods. We're going to talk about some of the lingo. We're going to look at how email is going to play a role in your overall marketing strategy. All right, so here are all the different ways that email can be used. Branding, sending direct traffic, engaging with your list, asking for referrals, getting to the Come and Open House. Those are all well and good. what you need to understand about where email marketing plays a role in your overall marketing is that the goal of email is to assist and expedite a parent's movement from one stage of the parent value journey to the next. You want to get them to move from one stage to the next. So we've likely all seen this roadmap of the parent value journey. Is there anybody on here who has not seen this? Again, from a quick scan, I think everybody has seen this. Type in a 2 if you have, and I'll keep moving forward, and if I need to recap it, I will. But as we all know, there are different stages that parents are going to go through. Since we are talking about email marketing, then we certainly know that we're past the subscribe stage. Now, lead magnets are to get somebody to subscribe. But again, if you're sitting there with a database, you've got their email already. So we need to look at how we need to engage with parents and the content that we need to deliver to them to get them from just sitting there in your system to converting them and exciting them to actually want to come to an open house or set a meeting with you or get on a phone call with you. Think about how many times you know that somebody is interested or they've signed up for an open house and they don't show up. Or you've set a one-on-one meeting with somebody and they've postponed 4 different times, right? It happens pretty frequently. So they're all at different stages and they're all doing their own evaluation. Being able to deliver an email message based upon exactly where they are in this stage can help move them from one stage to the next. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. So there are 2 types of emails that you can send. There's a broadcast and there's an autoresponder. We're actually going to spend a lot of time talking a little bit more about the broadcast style email today. Again, I'm a huge fan of automation. There's a time and place for automation, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. But actually the toughest part of email marketing is not the automation. The automation is actually kind of easy. It's the broadcast email. So broadcast emails are when you go into your email marketing software and you craft a message and you hit send and it goes out to everybody. The autoresponder is when you set up ahead of time automated emails to go out based upon a triggering action. So what's a triggering action? Let's talk about some automation here for a second. Automation can only happen if somebody triggers something to happen, if a parent takes an action. I don't know if anybody saw this in the Facebook group, and I don't know if he's on this webinar, but there was a post recently in the Facebook group. Somebody had said, how do I do automated inbound marketing? And I had to clarify what that meant because there is a lot of hype around automation, and if you look up automation and marketing software, you're going to find thousands of pieces of software to help do every little thing you can do a little bit easier, a little bit more automated. Inbound marketing, just so we're all clear, is more of a psychology and a thought process around how you want to do marketing. It's not so much around the tactics and the strategy. So when you think about automation, it usually comes in play with email, but email can only be automated when somebody takes an action. So getting back to our lead magnet, the lead magnet that we set up so that somebody could give us their contact information in exchange for a valuable piece of content. That is a triggering mechanism. That triggers your email software that you can send 3 or 4 days worth of email content out to them. For everybody on here that joined me in the lead magnet building journey and it took me up on the ClickFunnels offer, for those that haven't seen it, I'll just show you real quick. So bear with me for a second. So this was the lead magnet that we set up, right? So this is a 19 questions guide. When somebody goes in here, clicks to download this 19 questions guide to help them evaluate a school, they entered a form. That was their triggering action. Okay, so we set up ahead of time. Bear with me as everybody sees my notes. That was a triggering action. They opted in for the lead magnet. We set up 3 or 4 days worth of emails to go out to help deliver the lead magnet and to take advantage of their immediate interest to get them to take that next step. So take them from evaluation to subscribe to convert and to excite. What else could trigger email automation? Somebody comes to an event. Maybe you have a seasonal event, a gala, a community, some type of winter event now that we're coming up on winter. Maybe it's an open house. You have an event, you have a sign-up form on your website for it. Somebody signs up, that can trigger email automation. I'm going to give you examples of this at the end. So don't worry if you're wondering, okay, well, what do those emails actually look like? I'm going to give you those to you at the end. If somebody donates, if somebody inquires, these are examples of triggering actions that you can set up emails ahead of time so that when X happens, you send out the Y emails. So when somebody donates, you have that set up on your website. And I know we haven't talked a lot about the donor side of things, but if you have a form on your website to capture contact information for donations, for inquiries, just even for contacting you, you can set up email automation ahead of time. Another really cool way to do email automation is actually to do self-segmenting campaign. And I'm going to show you how a school does this, where you can have parents actually self-segment or self-trigger automation, where you can deliver content to them based upon what they're telling you they want. That's a really cool way. You see that's number 6 down there, clicking a link in a segmentation campaign. I'll show you an exact example of how to do that. Not engaging with your emails. So guys, hopefully you're all using email automation software. So what is email automation software? Again, it's the ActiveCampaigns, the HubSpots, the Actionetics, MailChimp, Constant Contact. Those are all the pieces of software you need. You can go into your software right now, right when this webinar is done, and say, I want to send an email to everybody who hasn't opened my email in 60 days. Right? So if somebody hasn't opened an email that you send in 60 days, and let's say you're just even sending weekly, that's somebody that's not engaging with your emails. You want to see if they're really interested in receiving future emails from you. So you can send a re-engagement email to them. Say, hey, you can even say, you haven't opened anything in a while, just want to make sure delivering the resources that you need. What can we help you with? You could send them, if you're one of the folks on here who has got their lead magnet set up, as you heard on a webinar recently, re-engage your parents with your lead magnet. All right, so again, I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through. Just want to give you guys things to think about of ways to set up email automation and when you should do it and when you shouldn't do it. So I would say right now, you should have email automation set up for folks that are not engaged with your emails. You should have email automation set up. If you have any form on your website right now for an open house or an event or even a contact me, you should look to send out automation after that. And I'll give you examples again at the end of what that actually looks like based upon different scenarios. All right. Now, where I really wanted to get into today was, because email automation is kind of simple, all you have to do is take the time ahead of time to set up those 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, even 5-day automated sequences based upon a trigger in your software. And again, I don't want to get into the technical side today about setting up that automation, because just go to, if you're using MailChimp or Constant Contact, they all have guides on how to set that up. So follow their guides. If you're looking up email automation, they'll show you how to do it and even give you best practices based upon forms that people fill out. So the technical side, it might be a little bit annoying, might be a bit of a headache initially, but take a day, go through the training that they have, and they'll be able to technically help you with the setup. The more difficult part comes in when automation ends, because let's say you are on here and you have a lead magnet set up and you set up the 3-day automated campaign to go out after somebody opts in. The question is, what happens on day 4, day 7, day 14, day 30? What happens on those days? Does your email communication stop? And the answer is no, it does not stop. But the question is, what are you actually going to say? And this is the tough part, and this is where everybody gets stuck with their email marketing, because they don't email enough, they don't know what to say, so therefore they don't email enough, or they don't email enough because they think they're going to annoy people by sending too many emails. So there's a lot of maybe even self-imposed obstacles when it comes to email marketing, but hopefully after today, you'll be a little bit more comfortable in doing more of the manual email marketing and the why. I'm not sure if everybody saw this, but I posted this in the Facebook group. And what this is is, as I mentioned, we have a survey department here. And what I grabbed was the top 30 responses from the survey question: in choosing a school for your child, what factors are important to you? So I exported all the answers, and here's what we got. I want to direct your attention here to the top 3 answers: faculty care and concern, school atmosphere, quality of faculty. So as you're scanning through there and looking at the answers, these are all the things that parents said why they chose a particular school, what factors were important to them. Think about how you can use these answers in your communication, right? So email we're going to be using to communicate to parents to get them to read a blog, watch a video, go to an article on your website, whatever it might be. But as you're looking at even what do you have currently? Let's take those top 2 of the 3 responses. What do you have currently on your website or on YouTube or on Facebook that can speak to the quality of your faculty? If faculty is important to your parents, and you might have your own data, and some of these answers might be higher up on your list, but just look at your own data. Why did parents choose your school? That's the content that you need to deliver to them. If you know that this is important to them in their decision-making process, then you should actively be delivering that content to your parents. So go look at what type of videos do you have from parents. Do you have, let's say, of parents who are enrolled, alumni? Do you have a video that shows a teacher in action? Do you have an article that talks about the new STEM program or teaching strategies that you're utilizing at your school if STEM is important? Do you have videos of alumni saying how a teacher changed their life at your school? Whatever it is, use email to send parents to that video. That's all you're doing with email, is saying, hey parent, here's a video of the science teacher in action teaching this revolutionary new strategy. Watch it here. That's it. And you want to just do that pretty frequently, and we'll talk about how frequently you should. But you need to develop content. You need to deliver that content to parents. Email is the best way to do it, not social media. Social media is helpful, but email. So as you're going through here, if you're struggling with content, utilize this list. You'll have these slides as a way to get ideas of, okay, what do parents need to know to help move them forward? What do we need to tell them to compel them to choose our school over our competitors? All right. So I wanted to highlight those, content ideas or strategies as we get into what I will call the 4 rules of email marketing strategy. So 4 core rules. So again, email marketing is definitely a lot more than just broadcasting an email every time you publish a new blog post or a new event or new open house or newsletter. It's more than sending email alerts if you're asking for money. If you have a campaign coming up, it'd be great if you were in communication with them very frequently as opposed to only when you're asking them to do something. So to master email marketing, you need to understand the types of emails you're going to use, the timing, and the different campaigns to connect with your subscribers. So rule number 1, you need to segment your list. So again, as I said, everybody right now is sitting on a database of parents. Even if you don't have the lead magnet set up and you're not actively building that list, you're sitting on a list of 500, 1,000, 2,000 parents. But what I've heard very frequently is that it's just one big list. It's one big list of parents. You need to segment out that list based upon 3 core segments. One is by age and grade, or even maybe the year they would graduate from your school, so you can track them from year to year. So if you know age and grade, create a separate list. So go into your email software and just go to create a new list and call it graduation year 2024, graduation year 2023, whatever. All right. By interest. So if you know that they're interested in a sport or in STEM or in computer science or in the band or whatever it is, if you have that information, great. Just create a separate list for that. Here's everybody that's interested in Montessori. Here's everybody that's interested in band or whatever it is. So create those lists. And then create lists based upon different stages of the parent journey. Been to an open house. Ask for more information but haven't been to an open house. Your lead magnet list, but they have not been to been to an open house. So have separate lists based upon where they are in your journey or in their journey. And again, if you know this information, you can segment it quickly, great, go and do that immediately. If you don't, that's okay. Just make that standard practice moving forward. Sometimes you can automate where people go into those lists, and you can even have parents segment themselves. Sometimes, and probably right now, it might be a manual process. And it might only be manual even if you have that information. So if you don't know the age of the child or you don't know what their interest is, okay, you have to deal with that. But make it standard practice moving forward so that whenever you have a parent fill out a form, have them answer questions that allow for this segmentation. If you're at a booth or a tent at a community event, name, email, age, what's the number one thing you're looking for in a school, whatever it might be. Okay, let me show you an example of how you can do this in your lead magnet and how one of the schools utilizes segments their audience automatically. So Whitby School. So you guys have seen them a couple times. I love their marketing, so I like to highlight them. So as you can see, that this is one of their lead magnets, 10 things to look for in an inspirational classroom. It's actually an infographic. So all they did was create a really nice graphic that they're having parents give their first name, last name, phone number, and email for. But as you can see, they have one other question. This is how they're segmenting their list. They gave the parents 5 options. So they likely created 5 different tags or 5 different lists in their email software based upon the answer that they chose here. So what's important to me? That they're an independent thinker or problem solver, receive personalized learning experience, they're grounded, they're interested in attending a If you have those segmented lists, you should hopefully have content prepared to deliver based upon their answers. Okay? Hopefully this will start coming together, but the most important thing that you start doing is you need to start segmenting your list. So if you have the lead magnet set up, I think the lead magnet that I had helped you guys set up, the 19 questions guide, we were just asking for the grade that they're entering, or and you can just do that. You can ask about how old they are, their grade. When you want to get a little bit more advanced, what you can actually do is you can do this in ClickFunnels. You can do this through HubSpot. I'm not sure if the other platforms have this, but you can change the question if a parent revisits the website. So if a parent comes here and downloads this and they pick a question and they answer it, but let's say a month later they come back and say, you know what, I want to get that inspirational classroom thing again. They go in here, they'll be asked a different question because the system will recognize that they've been there before. Pretty wild how sophisticated you can get with it. I wouldn't worry about getting too fancy yet, but those are the things you can start doing moving forward. And again, what's the point? The point is that if you have this information, think about how your communication changes and how personalized that communication can be to the parent, so that if you feel like right now you're just sending the same email to all your parents every single week, maybe it's just your newsletter, that they might be coming blind to that. They might not be opening it. They might be like, well, I know what I'm getting now. But if you're delivering content based upon things you know that they're interested in, think about how much more effective your communication can be and how much more effective you can be to compel them to take that next step. By answering the questions that they have with your content, they're going to trust that you have the right answer. All right, so let's go back here. Whoops. Okay. So segment. And here's the one other example I wanted to give you. Again, from Whitby, they do a great job. They sent, and I subscribe to them, and like I said, I subscribe to almost all school newsletters. I love to see what they're doing, who's doing it right, who's not doing it right. And you can see their subject line here. This is just a copy and paste. It says, quick question, are you finding our resources helpful? So what they're doing here is they're asking me, as if I'm the parent, and saying, look, we want to make sure, you can read their copy there. We want to make sure we're sending you emails that you're interested in and relevant to you. Would you help us learn more about you by selecting the option that best describes you? So what are they doing here? They are having the parent click a link that self-segments them based upon where they are in their journey. Really, really cool strategy. So they're using HubSpot, I believe. And what you can do is you can do this in HubSpot. You can do this, I believe, in almost all the marketing software platforms, is you can set up automation ahead of time that says, when I click the actively looking for a new school for my child, it puts me in a separate list. So they know that I'm interested, and they're going to be probably a little bit more aggressive in the content that they send me to get me to come on campus, let's say. Or, as you can see, the second option, I'm not looking for a new school, but I love learning more about education. So where these, and I don't have it up here right now, but I'll tell you where these two links take you. The first one will take me to book a time on their calendar to come to an open house based upon whether it's lower, middle, or upper school. The second link, if I'm not looking for a new school, they have me subscribe to their blog so that they can stay in contact with me moving forward. And again, I will repeat, they're doing this because it works. Guys, Woodby School, the reason I like highlighting them, they had a 54% increase in leads in a 12-month time period and a 73% increase in new contracts by doing these things, all of these things together. Having a lead magnet, having automated emails, having these segmentation type emails. So if that's where you want to be, these are the types of things you really need to start learning and getting used to. And just, this might be strange, it might be new, you might be overwhelmed. Take the time to learn it. Take the time to learn it. Attend my webinars. There's a lot of other great people out in the industry that have really good strategies for email marketing. Just learn it. Take the time to learn it. And again, I'm going to give you a really cool resource that's going to help expedite your learning. All right, so that's segmenting. Part 2, rule number 2 for email. You got to email frequently. You got to email frequently. I ask all the time, or I get asked all the time, how often should I email? And I even ask the question a lot, and I've heard once a week, once every other week. And what do you guys think? What is your answer? Type in your answer. How often do you think you should email? How often do you think you should email your list of parents? So if you were to start emailing right now your current database, you said you got this, you know what you need to send out. How often do you think you should send it out? Once a week? Twice a week? Once a month? Once every other week? Let's see, once a week. Once a week. How often are you emailing? How often are you emailing right now? So I see every other week. Every other week. So I see a couple people say once a week, every other week. So let me tell a quick story. I'll give you the answer, and then I'm going to give you a second answer. Okay? All right, because I have a feeling you're not going to like my first answer. So several years ago, I guess it's about 6 or 7 years ago at this point, when I was really getting into digital marketing, doing lead generation, I wanted to learn. I was hooked. I wanted to learn as much as I could. I attended an email marketing boot camp. It was like a 3-day boot camp, a 2.5-day boot camp, just on email marketing. And they brought out, one of the gurus and started talking about how to do email right. And they said, you need to email your list every single day. And I said, holy crap, that's not possible. That's going to annoy people. That's going to cause them to unsubscribe. They're going to hate me. And frankly, how am I going to email every single day? And after that, I said, well, what the hell? Let's give it a try. And after I did that, for when I was working with a lot of financial service clients at that time, and I said, look, here's what we're going to do. And we ended up getting fewer unsubscribes, made more sales, and created more engagement with people. The open rates went up, the click-through rates went up, unsubscribes went down, and Now, there's more that goes into it than just emailing every single day, but it worked. It worked. And I understand the idea of emailing your list every day might seem intimidating. You might want to leave this webinar right now and not listen any further because you hate me so much at the moment, because that's a lot of emails. So here's my second answer that I said I wanted to give. If you're emailing every other week, once a month, something along those lines, work on getting to once a week. If you're already doing once a week, do to 2 to 3 times a week. Right now at ISM, between myself and some of our other members of our marketing team, we have a lot of different departments here that all do their own emailing. Our goal is really to do about anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week across the board. So that's really where we're at right now. So it would be great if you can get up to once a week. I would say if you can get into 2 to 3 times a week, you're in a really good spot. So the question then is, and this leads me into, okay, how do we do that? You might even think once a week is tough. 2 to 3 times a week might even be more tough. It leads me to my next rule. Send many different types of emails. This way you're not going to run out of stuff to email your list, and you won't annoy parents, as long as you vary the types of emails that you send. So think about it this way. If you're concerned about parents receiving a lot of emails from you, thinking they're spammy, like they should I hate the word spam. I'm never going to use it again. But if you're afraid of people unsubscribing or being annoyed by your emails, you have to think about, well, what are the types of emails that I'm sending? What types of emails do you want to receive? I'm sure many of you are parents that are making the decision for school for your child, right? Or you receive emails from other things that you like to buy, other websites, right? What are the emails that you want to receive? They should all be helpful. They should all be helpful and valuable. And they come in 3 different categories for the types of emails that you should be sending. So let's jump into the types of emails that you should be sending so that parents actually look forward to getting your email. All right, so we're going to spend some time on this slide right now because I'm going to talk through these. And again, I'm going to give you a really cool resource at the end that's really going to help you do this. So the first piece or type of email you should send is a content email. And it's really, especially if you're doing the lead magnet right now, you're engaged in getting the lead magnet set up to get parents to subscribe. It's why they're subscribing to you in the first place. Look, your school, I'm sure all your schools are great, but they didn't opt in to give you their contact information in order to enroll just yet or to fill out an application just yet. They opted in to get your resources, to learn more about your school. So you need to provide valuable and quality content, and that can make the difference between maintaining a really vibrant list of people who are actively looking to open your emails, as opposed to parents that are going to unsubscribe. So if they opted in to learn more about, like in Whitby's case, what is the 10 elements of an inspirational classroom, or why your college prep program is great, or the 19 questions to evaluate a private school. If they're opting in for those things, that's exactly what they're hoping to get more content about in the future. If they receive, boring, generic information that they're only getting one time a month or once every other week, they're probably going to unsubscribe. Frankly, they're probably just going to forget about you. They might not even unsubscribe. They're just going to forget about you or get used to just not opening your emails. Like, oh, well, there's another email from them. It's the same old newsletter. But if you're giving them consistent stream of amazing content that speaks exactly to their interest, their goals when it comes to their kids' education based upon what we know from the survey results, they're going to look forward to getting your emails, opening them, inquiring, coming on campus for a visit, and getting even a phone call. When it comes time for giving them a phone call, they're going to be looking forward to it because all along the way, they have confidence that you've been delivering the content that is that's most helpful to them. So what types of content emails can you send? Yes, your newsletter is a type of content email, but that should not be the only type of email that you send out. If you have a blog, sending out, every time you post something on your blog, you send an email, you tell them what the title is, what the blog content's about, and you send them over to it. If you don't have a blog, you really need to start having one. I will have training on how to set up a blog coming soon, but you really need to look into how to set up a blog and have that, because frankly, if you're blogging, your email marketing becomes a whole lot easier, because all you're doing with your email is sending them to your blog content, right? Your email is just the distribution channel to get them to your blog. If you have any sort of videos or you're doing webinars, I really do encourage you to look into doing webinars if you're not. Because think what type of webinar, just like I'm doing here, I'm providing you with content on email marketing. What type of content do parents want? They might want content on how to apply for financial aid. They might want content on how to apply for financial aid for college. They might want, content about college prep, for example, what they need to know, or internships. I don't know. Think about the type of content that parents want. You can deliver webinars. Or even live presentations at feeder schools. These are all ways to deliver content. And all you're going to do is, when you create that content, or if you have that content laying around already, webinars, videos, social media posts, email them and let them know about it, right? The second type is, I think, the most important type of email that you send is a relationship style email. These are probably the most important types of emails if you want to be a successful email marketer in the long run. Think about using email, and we talked about this when we set up the lead magnet. When somebody first subscribes to you and first learns about your school, and maybe they opt in for the first time, it's your time to now indoctrinate them into who the school is, even who you are, right? I do encourage you to put your name and your picture at the bottom of your emails so that they start developing a relationship with you and the school. So that when they come to a campus event, you can be there shaking their hand, and they can put a name with the face of who they're receiving those emails from, who's behind sending those emails. And here's some ideas. If you were an alumni of the school that you're working at, talk about your experience. You want to be really personable with your relationship style emails. They can be very similar to your content emails in terms of sending them to blog posts, giving background about your school, maybe why you're happy to work there, even talking about what's happening, what's the weather look like. You get an early snow day, sending an email about things like that keep parents engaged, keep them understanding that you are a person, your school is there to help them. It's not just a corporate style email where you're talking at them, but you're looking to develop that relationship with them. This is what parents want in today's day and age. This is what the millennial parents want. Yes, while they might sit more behind the computer screen these days, they also want to feel a more personal connection and interaction with who they're making the biggest decision of their lives and their child's lives, and where they're sending their kid to school. So being able to develop that relationship instantly establishes you as an authority. It would probably set you apart from all of your competitors in the area who are not doing this. I held a webinar a couple weeks ago with Jackie Yamada. She is our international enrollment consultant. And she was showing statistics about how if you have an international program, building relationships with the families even earlier before they even make their way on campus. And we spent a whole webinar talking about how to engage international families during the process where they're working with placement agents, things like that, how that relationship is starting earlier and earlier. So this idea of building a relationship is becoming more and more important, and email is a great way to communicate that message. Third is promotional. So asking parents to come on campus to fill out an application. These I call them promotional because you're asking parents to now take you up on your offer. Again, it could be an open house. It could be scheduling an appointment. It could be just filling out an application. It could also just be what's happening at school, graduation, a sporting event. you won an award for something. These are all things that are about your school that are perfectly fine to send. You just don't want to make it all of your emails. I've come across many blogs where all the blog is what's happening on campus. Today was our play. Today was our graduation. Today was the baseball game. Today we did this. Like, if that's your blog, you need to stop doing that. If that's all your email marketing is, you need to stop doing that. Parents do care about your school and what you're doing and the awards that you won, but they also care about themselves and having their own questions answered about why your school is going to be the best for their child and their education. So perfectly fine to send out stuff about your school. Make it about 20% of your emails. 80% should be content and relationship based. 20% should be about specifically about your school. And frankly, you can talk about your school and the awards that you won and all your accolades and all your great statistics about how many kids get into college. You can do all of that within your content and in your relationship style emails. So do it that way. Don't just make it about only about you and your school. All right. Last rule: be interesting. Be interesting and helpful. This is actually something that many email marketers lose sight of, but it's critical to your success. If you're sending boring stuff, they're going to lose interest in what you have to say. They're either going to unsubscribe or they're just going to stop opening your emails. So make the information that you're sharing helpful. The emails are upbeat. They're interesting. Write how you talk. People don't always want to have the pure academic speak or have everything very formalized. Many times it's okay to write how you speak. And if you received a lot of emails from me, I try to do that more often than not. I try to be really personal in my emails. So you really want to be, again, I can't reiterate this enough. Your list of parents is an asset. It is an asset, and you need to be protective of that asset as your marketing asset. You need to think about it looking out for their best interest in anything that you send out. So you always want to treat them as a person, not as a lead. So any content that you're sending, think about, how is this going to help them? How does this entertain them? How does this show us off in a great light? So, if you're good to your list, they're going to be loyal to you, and they're going to share your content. That's the other thing we haven't really talked about. They're going to share. They're going to share with their friends. If they have friends that they know who are looking for school, well, hey, take a look at this email. Hey, they have this open house coming up. You should come with me. It's going to make all of that a whole lot easier. So be human. Relationship emails, regardless of why they're sent, should be human rather than scripted. Okay? And always spell out the next steps and encourage people to take those next steps right away. So in any email that you send, you just want to encourage them to share with a friend, read this blog post, watch this video, come to this open house. You should always be asking them to do something in your emails. Okay? So again, use these email types to expedite the parent journey. So going back to the parent journey, again, since we're talking about the types of emails we're using to engage your families at every stage of the journey, remember that your goal is not just to engage. Email marketing will help you more quickly move families from one stage to the next. So as we've seen here, people become aware, they engage me with your lead magnet, they subscribe. What emails do we then need to send them after the automation is done to get them excited, to get them to share, to get them to come on campus? All right. And also, we haven't talked a lot about it, but you can also use your emails to actively promote, right? So we talked about asking for referrals, asking parents to share. You can do all of that through email. So that leads me to, I talked kind of high level, right? I kind of talked high level, send out some content, send out some email, do automation. What do those actually look like? It would be great to see some examples. Well, that's what I kind of want to give you, and it's called creating email swipe files. If you don't know what a swipe file is, you should start creating these immediately. And you can create swipe files of ads, of other marketing pieces, but certainly of emails. And here's what it is. Let me show you what an email swipe file is. And I got your email swipe file started for you in this way. Let me show you. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Here it is. So what a swipe file means is, and I guess the better way is to describe it as an example. What I encourage you to do is go to schools like Whitby School, like Oak Knoll, like Sewickley, like all those schools that I highlighted on previous webinars, but also go to your competitors. Go to other schools who you know are especially doing email marketing. Subscribe to everything that they're doing. Subscribe to all of their lead magnets. Whitby and Sewickley and Oak Knoll, they each have like 3 or 4 lead magnets. So you subscribe to them and you see what are the emails that they're sending out. So if we know that Whitby is seeing a 54% increase in leads in 12 months, 73% new contracts in those 12 months. Oak Knoll, 42% new family inquiries in 6 months. If we know that there are schools out there doing this successfully, then the best thing that I would always recommend to do is model what they're doing. Don't plagiarize, but model. And that is a very common practice across all marketing, is to model what's working. Don't reinvent the wheel. So what a swipe file is, you keep a database of what other schools are doing. It could be a database of what their lead magnets are, what their web pages look like, or in our case here, what are the emails that they're sending out as automation and broadcast emails. So what I've done over the past few months, and really over the past year, is I'm subscribed to a lot of different schools' lead magnets, and I'm on their subscriber list. So I see what they send, and I keep my own database. Well, what I want to do is give you part of that database for you to have as a resource so that you can see, okay, what does a content email look like, a relationship email look like, or an automated email look like. So I think this was like 26 pages, and I printed them all out and I scanned them for you. And so you can see here, I'll walk through here just so you know what you're getting here, is Whitby School has a lead magnet called the 6 little known benefits of language learning. All right. So it's all about learning a new language. And this was the email that they sent me that delivered that that document to me. Okay. Now I put these in order. Here was, I think this was the second email that they sent me. And this can be automated. So if you know somebody opted in for information about learning a language, then you know the parents are interested in learning a language for their child. What if language learning doesn't come naturally? So that speaks to the concern. Learning a new language is tough. What if it doesn't come naturally? And it says, hope you had a chance to download the book. We've detailed these variables in the article, 9 factors that influence language learning for kids. So they've set up content to go out to have parents read more about language learning, and certainly how Whitby answers these questions and solves these problems. So you'll see you can't click on these links, but go to their website and see what their lead magnets are, what their emails look like. And again, here's another one, 11 questions asked when considering a private school. So some of these are automated, and I'm going to continue to scroll down. Let me see, there's some other ones that are not. Here's the inspirational classroom one, we saw that. So a lot of these are all the automated ones in the beginning. And so here you go, what every parent should know about STEAM. So they have an article about why 21st century learning must go beyond STEAM. So again, it's stating the problem, here's how we answered it. So again, these are the emails that I wanted to give to you. You have these are about 26 pages worth of emails. I think I put Oak Knoll in here as well. You can see this is Whitby's newsletter. So some of those were very personal emails, very simple 1 or 2 paragraphs. Here's an example of their newsletter. So you can see what they're doing there with their newsletter. And again, that's just one of the emails I received from them, is their newsletter. But they're constantly always emailing me, trying to get me engaged with another lead magnet or with their blog. Thanks for subscribing to our blog. You can see an image of the person. Here's Sarah. And now I know who Sarah is. And if I ever go on campus, I know who Sarah is. Hey, I got your email. It's just a great way to connect with people. So, and I just received this one recently, Sunday, November 11th. The 3 Gs: graciousness, gratitude, and grit. So it looks like they had a blog post on that. And then here was that segmentation email that I showed you before about how they were asking me to self-segment myself based upon what I wanted to learn more about. All right, so you're going to get that resource. You're going to get that resource in the email that I sent to you. So that's called a swipe file. Start keeping these swipe files. Keep an eye on their subject line. Keep an eye on the content. Keep an eye on where they're sending people from their emails. And I have an entire binder for myself when I'm doing marketing internally for ISM and doing lead generation. I'm subscribed to, I don't even know, 20 different websites out there. I get their emails, what they're trying to sell me. I print them out and I put them in a binder. I have a gigantic binder of just templates and swipe files for emails, for running ads, for subject lines, for writing headlines, blog posts, the whole thing. So start making that a part of your daily routine. Okay, make that a part of your routine where you're creating these what are called swipe files. So I think we're just about at the end. So hold on. Okay, so for anybody on here, by the way, you know, for those that have their lead magnets set up, that took me up on that ClickFunnels offer, now's the time. Start asking questions if you do have some questions about email marketing. If you haven't, I just want to recap what that offer was. I haven't made the offer in a couple months, I'm sorry, about a month and a half, but I'll make it again. If you want to have a lead magnet set up, like you saw Whitby had, like you saw the 19 questions guide, that's what I had set up. There's software to do that. It's called ClickFunnels. If you sign up for the ClickFunnels software, and I'll give you a link here in a second, you can get connected to my account. I'll share with you a done-for-you funnel that includes the web pages you need, the 3-day email automation sequence, and how to set it all up. Plus, I have a training portal that I set up. And again, hopefully everybody on here that has the lead magnet has been in the training portal and started to utilize the resources that are in there. I'm constantly adding to it. And Carlos, I know that you're on here. Thank you for letting me know when I have broken links. I apologize about those. So hopefully those are all fixed. So if you don't have a lead magnet set up and you want to, the offer is this. You can use that link. You have to use that link, the bit.ly ClickFunnels. You get attached to my account. You get a 14-day trial, and during that trial, we'll get your lead magnet set up. And assuming you want to continue, then it's just $97 to use ClickFunnels. Or if you want their more advanced package to do more automation, it's $297. But if you don't have a lead magnet set up, you need one if you want to start doing this. If you want to get the results that Whitby and Oak Knoll and Sewickley that they're getting with their predictable lead generation, this is how it all starts. So magnet done for you and set up with the document, with the web pages, with the emails already done for you. You just have to sign up for ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is the software that allows you to build the pages and the funnel pages. It allows you to build, one second. It allows you to build this. This is what I would build. This is what I built. This is what you'll get. These 2 core pages, which is the thank you page, the download, encouraging people to take the next step, plus access to this portal where you have training on how to get set up, this quick start guide that I'm working on, the webinars like this one, and there's some, let me show you the toolbox. If you haven't been in here yet and you are using the lead magnet, list of blog post ideas, blog content planner. So I'm going to have resources in for you to help in all aspects of your inbound marketing. All right, so you can, if you have a question on how to do that or what it entails, just shoot me an email or contact me in the Facebook group. But essentially, you just have to get signed up using this link. Make sure you type this in and get attached to my account so that all I have to do is click a button and share the funnel with you. All right, any questions? Any questions? And I'll leave this up here for right now. All right. And I forgot to mention. So one of the things, especially if you are utilizing the lead magnet that was done for you already, we are going to be having weekly trainings like this, plus Q&A sessions at least once every other week, sometimes once a week, where it's just going to be, we're going to talk about where you're at, what struggles are you having, get ideas, whatever you want to talk about. That's where we're going to have those sessions. All right. So, which email marketing platform should I use? It's a good question. I know when it comes to an email platform, that's always the main question to ask. You do need an email platform. There's no getting around it. There's a lot of resources to turn to. I will say, if you're using RenWeb or Blackbaud, those are not email marketing platforms. I know that you can send out emails through those systems. Those are used more for one-on-one communication, especially after an inquiry. But you can't do the type of email marketing that we're talking about doing here. You really can't do it. You need software like MailChimp or Constant Contact or ActiveCampaign, or ClickFunnels has their own, Actionetics. If you use HubSpot, they certainly have their own. You need professional email marketing software. The price points vary depending upon how sophisticated you want to get. If you're really, really on a tight budget, I recommend ActiveCampaign, the best bang for your buck. All these platforms are based upon the number of subscribers that you have. So if you have, I think, less than 1,000 subscribers, the cost is $17 a month. If you're ready to get more advanced and you're ready to take on, text messaging and Facebook Messenger, and you really want to get advanced in your marketing platform, then Actionetics with ClickFunnels is the $297 a month platform. That's really cool. So you can do some really neat things there moving forward. But if you're really just getting started and you wanted the simplest, or the lowest monthly outlay, then you're going to need ClickFunnels anyway, the software to get the lead magnets set up. Then you also need an email platform. So at the very minimum, you're probably looking at $115 a month, something like that. So hopefully that's helpful. And I would also encourage you, again, if you want to learn how to do the technical aspect of automation. Yes, if you're part of our lead magnet training, I do have a training on how to set up your automation. But your platform, MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever you're using, they all have great guides on how to get it set up and just the technical aspect of setting up automation and how to set up those trigger events. All right. What's the minimum to use for ClickFunnels? $97 is, they only have two plans. $97 is the one you need if you want to set up your the landing pages and the lead magnet and have that set up so that it's attached to your website. And the $297 is more if you wanted to use their automation platform, and I could send you a video on what that entails. And it does attach to any website. It doesn't matter what website you're using. We bolted on as a subdomain onto any website. So it doesn't matter if you're using Finalsite or WordPress or whatever you're using to have your website built. It doesn't matter. It attaches as two separate pages on any website. All right, so we're about 10 minutes past the hour. Thanks everybody for sticking with me. I don't see any other questions that came in. Hopefully you found this helpful. Please, fill out the feedback form at the end. Let me know what you want to know moving forward. Again, you are going to get those resources or that swipe file that I promised you. I think that'll really be helpful that you can see some actual emails being used in action by certainly by Whitby and Oak Knoll, and start working on building your own swipe file. So keep an eye on your email. Keep an eye on the Facebook group. I'll be posting the dates for the next training, and I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thanks, guys. Take care.